Ladies and gentlemen, now with us is the wonderful, the handsome, the August photographer extraordinaire, Brian Miller. Thank you very much for being with us. A longtime former longtime resident of Jeju. Cheers. Mm-hmm. You for the occasion you brought a bottle of soju.
Yes.
Yeah, chamisu. So how have you been? It's been a long time. For full disclosure, Brian and I would go way back. We used to, chum around the streets of Jeju City Hall back in the day. So we know each other quite well.
Sorry, I'm just going to interrupt here for 1 second.
Sure, go right
You used
ahead.
to chum around the streets.
Chum.
If you wanted anything to make you sound like a more of a grumpy old man, you're doing it, Daryl. You're doing it. You used to chum around the streets?
We did chum around the streets, and we were grumpy old men, though we were younger men then together.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
So, and the reason why we have Brian... What?
Grumpy old young men?
Yeah, grumpy old young men.
I like that. That's good.
Now, Brian Miller, as many people may... If you do not know of Brian Miller, you've probably seen his work because it's plastered everywhere online.
This is true.
And if you look up Jeju, chances are you might come across one of his pictures because for a very long time, and even still, you were kind of like the foreign or at least Western photographer of Jeju. Now, you have a new book coming up at some point when everything is finished and settled. It's going to be called Village Across the Street. I'd like to talk to you about this
Across
book.
the sea.
Across the sea? What did I say?
I don't know.
What did I say?
I don't know what you said, but you did
Village
say sea.
Across the Sea. Now, Brian, tell us a little bit about this photography book. What is it? What were you trying to achieve with it?
Well, some people might be familiar with like the original that was published, maybe 12 years ago.
Okay.
It's been a while. But that one was published through Jeju City Hall, and I never really liked it. Was never really happy with it.
Oh, really? Okay.
For a number of reasons. It was something of a disappointment for me. But yeah, one reason was that it didn't really have any focus. And if you have a copy of that book or you've seen a copy of it, it's massive. Mm-hmm. It's like this thick.
Oh,
It's like it's hundreds of pages. Hundreds of pages.
Okay.
It really lacked focus. And, I think with like photography collections or photo books, like less is more. You don't want to be throwing all of your photos into like a gallery or a photo book like that. True. So, and God, there was just stuff in there. Like I look at it now and I'm like, why did I put golf pictures in this Jeju book?
Why did you have 2 pictures of Daryl in there?
Because that's what the people wanted.
That's what
they asked for. And just give them what they wanted.
So then the focus of this book is going to be what then? Obviously more streamlined.
Well, yeah, the thing is, a friend of mine actually contacted me a little while ago and was like, hey, I lost my copy of that book. Can I get another one? And I kind of just laughed and was like, oh, that awful book that I published. And I said, no, it's not available anymore. And so then I went to Joey Rositano, and I mentioned it to him. I was like, this guy asked me for this book. And he was like, yeah, there's still copies of that book at coffee shops around the island. Yeah. And people ask me like where to get it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, really? And he was like, yeah, you should maybe like republish it. And so I kind of got the wheels turning in my head. And so I went to work on putting together another book. But the difference now is that I've been gone from Jeju for like 10 years. So I have a totally different mindset now. Oh. And my memories of Jeju and everything, like I'm very nostalgic about my time there. Uh-huh. And so this book is much more of a mood than that last book. The last book was like,
that's a cool way to say that, Brian. That's really cool. It's much more of a mood. Yeah.
The last book was like an encyclopedia, but this it's a much more nostalgic look at Jeju, and we got Brett to do the intro.
Brett Crehan.
Yeah.
Former writer,
Yeah.
Jeju resident.
Really good writer. He basically just wrote this like really beautiful essay about how he felt about the island.
Oh,
And
nice.
I sort of like cut it up and made part of it the foreword and part of it like the conclusion. And then Joey Rositano, who's a filmmaker, and he's done a lot of work with shamans on the island. He went and like interviewed a bunch of like shamans and local people about shamanism on the island, and so the quotes are there in the book. And Daryl contributed also.
Nice.
I did.
Daryl wrote a really nice story. So yeah, it's just a much more emotional, nostalgic look at Jeju.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So I'm a lot happier with this one.
Good.
Do you have like a couple favorite photos that you'd like to from the book?
They're all his favorite, Daryl.
Yeah, every single one. They're all your babies.
Well, the haenyeo photos are all favorites. Obviously.
Yeah.
But there's one series of photos about an animal sacrifice during a shamanism ceremony that's kind of it means something to me because like it was so difficult, to shoot shamans because sometimes they're not so welcoming to outsiders. It's a very culture there. So shooting shamanistic ceremonies, the goop, was difficult. And I had tried to photograph this particular ceremony where they sacrificed a chicken. And I was turned away. They told me to leave. But, like that, I eventually did photograph it. And what it meant to me was that, like, all the hard work trying to, like, build connections with the shamanistic community, ingratiating myself with those people, that it really paid off,
Nice.
So it's kind of the satisfaction of, like, taking those photos.
Yeah.
I have to tell you that some of my best memories on the island are the times that we did stuff together for work, like going to get photos, or like when we went to the even though the pictures are not in there anymore, the golf stories we went and did, or one of the best stories was, and the most interesting thing was going to try to find the shamans, the shrines on Jeju. A couple of times. It's fantastic because they're everywhere. They're in towns, and they're really, like, sometimes they're right in front of you.
Right in front of you, and you don't know. I went with Joey a few times. Yeah, that he took me around and saw. It's really cool.
Yeah, and when we were there, like, when I was there, they weren't mapped out. Like, people didn't know how many shrines there were or where they were. Right. So a friend of mine named Jung Hee, she was part of a group of people, historians, that were going around the island and like trying to map out where the shrines were. So, when me and Daryl were with her, like she was, like talking to people on the street, like asking them like where this particular shrine was, blah, 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 blah. When we found it, she would like take down GPS location.
Wow.
And like mark down like what it was and why that shrine existed, like what god it was built for.
Brian, how long ago was that? Like, do you got a year? God. No, hard. It's a decade ago. All blurred. It was a long time ago, but yeah.
Yeah, like speaking to Joey, like I guess like now all that work has been done. Like everybody knows where all the shrines are, so I feel really fortunate that I had that experience. Right. Sort of like Indiana Jones experience, like trudging through Jeju, looking for shrines that had been forgotten.
When you say that everybody knows where it is, Brian, this has been now published?
Yeah, they finished their work a while ago. Well, I'm getting so old.
Yeah. Join the club.
The former name of his book was The Island of 18,000 Gods, was it not?
Yeah, that was a working title.
Yeah, because the island, each village has two gods.
He's got a good memory, Brian. Each village has two gods, right?
And they're married, or husband and wife, or man and women sometimes. And the stories about them, like I remember going to one where like the gods had gotten divorced, and one of them was kicked out of the other tree and was like halfway across the town. Or, yeah, it's at the Mini Land. It's the one that's inside Mini Land now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say about that.
They made an amusement park around a shrine.
And so is the shrine still standing?
It's a tree inside. And
they did not cut the tree down?
The town wouldn't let them.
Good, because you know how many, Joey took me around, you know how many shrines have been paved over for literally parking lots? It reminds me of that song, Put Up a Parking Lot. Yeah, anyways, he was steaming about some things. Sure. He would take me and be like just angry, I think. Yeah.
Now, are you still shooting in Japan? I'm assuming you still shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because of the pandemic, I can't do what I really want to do. I have been shooting like heavy metal and punk concerts here.
Wait, what kind of? Sorry, what?
Heavy metal and punk concerts.
Oh, I like you so much.
That was a big thing. He loves heavy metal, and he would shoot them as often as he could down here.
Very cool. Yeah, I try to do as many. Back when I first moved here, I really try to get the music scene going here. It was a lost effort at some point, but I really, I did a lot of festivals and stuff. So yeah, very cool. Mm-hmm. So Daryl was saying that you were also. Is there something about like Japanese divers? Are you? Is that a project you're doing?
Yeah, I've been photographing that. They're called ama here.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been photographing them for a number of years, but because of the pandemic, I can't really do that right now.
Can you explain what the difference between is there a difference between shooting the ama and shooting the haenyeo?
It's largely the same. It's basically the same job. There are some differences. Just in the way it's organized and in practice. Like there's a way of diving here. Like husband and wife will go out in a boat, and the boat will have a kind of like pulley system on it. Oh. And the ama, the haenyeo, the female diver, will have like these heavy weights on her wetsuit, and she'll be attached to this pulley system, and then she'll go down in the water, and the weights will carry her down to the bottom of the ocean. And then, she'll gather up whatever she can. And then the husband will like reel her back in.
That sounds really dangerous.
I'm fascinated. Geez. That's wow. I have never. Okay then. Yeah. And are they really, sorry, go ahead. Are they as old as, not as old, is this a tradition that goes back as far as the haenyeo go? Do you know that? Or okay.
It's been with Japan for a long time. Actually, it was in Taiwan.
Okay.
A few years ago, like photographing haenyeo in Taiwan. So that's a very different situation there.
Okay.
It's really interesting. So it's not just like, I don't think when Koreans realize like they think the haenyeo are just haenyeo and that's it, and they think you were here. They promote them like they're like next to gods. How important the haenyeo and the haenyeo culture is. And
well, as an American, I definitely have never before moving to Jeju. It was nothing I experienced. So you even just saying you were in, do you say Taiwan?
Yeah, Taiwan. Yeah,
that they have their own. I mean, that's all news to me.
I wonder if they're related in any way, or if it's just like a different, or if it's just because I know that Jeju haenyeo have also gone to Japan,
Russia,
and other places to do that too.
I would love to go to Russia and try to find haenyeo.
That would be really cool.
The divers in Taiwan are called haenyeo, which is very similar sounding.
Very similar. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
But if you talk to people in Taiwan, like I interviewed the directors of a museum in this small town where like several of the haenyeo are located. If you talk to those people, they'll tell you that like it all originated in China.
Of course.
Yes.
Like every country where like these women divers appear, like they will tell you like, oh, it started here. Like we're the originators.
Right.
It's the Amara from. But I've always been really curious about where it all started because I never really heard like a really convincing explanation for why women dive and not men, or why it's such a big part of the culture. But the directors of this museum told me something really interesting. They said like in China, women are considered bad luck to boats because of their menstruation. menstrual cycles may make boats unlucky.
Yeah.
So for that reason, women are not allowed in the boats, or in the past they were not allowed in the boats, and that's why they were diving while the men were on the boats fishing.
Oh, is that why the men kept them on these lures off the boat?
Keep them away. Keep them away.
That's a pretty good explanation. Like all the other explanations I've heard for why women dive and not men, because they have this special kind of fat.
Yeah.
Well, and that never really seemed convincing to me.
Oh, I was like, well, as a female, I do have this special kind of fat. Yeah.
Well, Jeju had to do with more with like the taxation issues.
To
right?
avoid,
like men were taxed for fishing and women weren't, which is one of the reasons why women really took off, because it used to be a more man profession.
Right.
And that's why the men wait and help the women once they get out. They were literally just waiting by the seashore to help them with stuff.
Well, right. Brian Miller, having you just finished saying all that thing, have you not ever thought about making a book about the women divers, just solely? Like, even if it was just the 3 that you filmed, wouldn't that be cool?
That's sort of my life's work.
Yes, that would be really cool.
I've been photographing haenyeo for, just 15 years. Is it 20? I don't know.
Let's go with 20.
Yeah,
it sounds good.
But what is it about the haenyeo? Why these female divers? Because we talk about the haenyeo a lot on the show. And we have issues with the exotification of them and people who treat them as more than like people and more as a profession.
Jobs. Yeah, it's a job.
And you don't do that, obviously. I've seen your work and been around you a lot. But what is it about the haenyeo or about these female divers everywhere in the world that makes you compelled to want to work and create a work out of them?
Well, I shoot a lot of things, but when I'm shooting haenyeo or ama or hainu, I feel like what I'm doing is really important, both because it's part of human culture that's kind of disappearing, and I feel like when I'm photographing them, I'm helping to record this culture that's not going to last. It's not going to be here forever. So there's that. But also, I just really love being on the ocean. Like the ocean, it's always fascinating to me. Like I love being out there.
No, your pictures of haenyeo are like they're stupendous. Yeah.
Thank you.
They used to don the walls. They may still. I haven't been to Baghdad in years.
Well, I was actually going to bring that up. Like for all of our listeners, obviously most of our listeners now are kind of the newer generation of Jeju. But for anyone wondering his work, you could go to Baghdad, the Indian restaurant in City Hall, and your work is still up there. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, you do take really phenomenal portraits. Yeah, really, really amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, before we go, I did want to talk a little bit about Brian, Mr. Miller. You did live on the island for a while and decided to leave. And I think there's a lot of people who can actually relate to you, like I could, about maybe some of the reasons why you decided to leave the island. Could you get into some of the frustrations that you had while you were here?
Well, just the sort of general things like the visa situation. Like I didn't feel like I could make money doing the things that I wanted to do, like photography, like legally. And I never really felt comfortable with being paid under the table for the work that I was doing.
Absolutely.
So there was that. But honestly, it was just the fact that all my friends left and things changed, and it just wasn't the same anymore.
I get that. I get the whole, it's not the same as it was
100%
when we got here. It's amazing how quickly everything changed. Geckos has been gone since when you took it with you. It left around then.
No, I think I partied there a few times. So it hung on to its last threads and then it disappeared. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were great times.
Those were great times.
Even for me, those were great times. Do you remember, like, I don't know what your guys' times, but after the Jeju United games, all the footy players would come out and the coach, you remember Silver Fox?
Yeah.
He would come, he would hang out, and we would just be drinking with the players and hanging out at this bar. It was fun.
Yeah.
And again, I get nostalgic about that tent in Jeju. Like, right there it was. There it was.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Because like the issue I always found was the lack of there's no political opportunity or political agency you had. You couldn't do anything. You had no effect upon anything, which I always felt was very frustrating.
It is.
Which is why one of the reasons why I left is because I couldn't feel like I could do my work the way I wanted to do it here. And that's why I kind of went to Canada to become a reporter there for a couple of years, because I just felt kind of neutered. My wings clipped. Another cliche.
I can see that.
You know?
I can see that.
I do want to go back to Jeju and like take more photos of haenyeo, more photos of shamans and things like that. Like there's a lot of interest there, but you know, when you're living there, like you're kind of limited by like the visa, but also like 100%. What you said, like you're treated a certain way there, you know. You're treated as like, I don't know, they expect you to, I don't know, say nice things about the island and promote the island. So I guess you're just more of a promotional tool.
Agreed.
And I didn't really feel comfortable.
Agreed. Especially 10 years ago. I think maybe a lot of new people here might not relate to that so much, but 100%, 110%, all of us that have been here a long time, everyone listening is probably nodding their head. Yeah, it is much different. And you were just a face that they wanted you to smile and be like, oh, this food. So
It's funny.
We've all experienced that.
I've been in a commercial like that.
I'm sure you.
I've been in a commercial where I was told to go to a sashimi restaurant.
Yeah.
And we had to eat it. And
the best.
People can't see me if they're just listening to it, but a very enthusiastic face of food enjoyment going on right there. And
Brian, since you've been gone about a decade, have you been back to Jeju since?
Yeah, I went a couple of years ago.
You did? Nice.
Yeah.
Were you completely shocked? Because I am always shocked, and I haven't left for 9-10 years. So I will drive to an area, and I'm like, damn, like my memories are still there, but it's such a different island.
Yeah, I mean, a lot's changed, but as much as things change,
they stay the same.
Stay the same. Yeah.
Fair enough. How long, if you don't mind me asking, your last visit? I'm just curious for personal reasons. How long was your stay when you came here?
I think a couple weeks.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Good for you.
I had a photo gallery at a museum here in Japan, and the owner of that museum actually knew the head of a fishing village in Jeju.
Oh, cool.
And so he connected me to him, and went and took pictures of haenyeo for a few days. Yeah, it was really nice.
Hell yeah, man. That's very cool.
So, if our listeners would like to get in touch with you or look at some of your work, follow your work, where can people get a hold of you?
I have a website at baraka.zenfolio.com.
Okay.
So they can see my photos there.
Do you do Insta?
No.
That's a no. Your face.
Yeah, that was a resounding no.
I was like, no, I definitely don't do that. Thanks, though.
Yeah, I'll put in the liner notes of the episode and how to get a hold of you and your website to go look at your fabulous work. And hopefully the village across the sea. Hopefully it'll be up.
This is not the official book, people, but this is like a little taste of it. Yeah.
And copy.
Ooh. Both of us are like, ooh.
That is much nicer looking than ours.
I can already tell, like, it's so shiny on the cover. Yeah.
And when it comes up, we'll make sure to direct people to it, show them where it is.
Where they can buy it. Are you will be like shipping internationally in the whole 9 yards?
Yeah. The plan is to have it on Amazon. So.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being with us, Brian. It's been great to.
Thanks for having me.
To chit chat again.
And cheers. Nice to meet you, Brian. Cheers.
Cheers.
We'll have you on again soon. Thank you.